This is the most powerful practice for manifestation, in my humble opinion. This practice has helped me manifest my dream home, my dream partner, friendships, business opportunities, my dream business, the freedom I have in my business, things beyond my wildest dreams, and such wild things that would seem like coincidences, but it's wild because I have actually written them down in the first place. And if that doesn't give you enough clue to what we're going to be speaking about in this episode, we're going to speak about the very powerful practice of journaling. I am talking about very intentional journaling. It's one of my favorite practices to do because it allows you to have that creative space and that time to think and get really honest with yourself and write things down that you wouldn't dare share with anybody else, right? Like you can write the lamest things in there. Like if anyone ever picked up my journal, I'd be like, please don't read that because some of the things in there are so cringe, but I actually allow myself the space to just dream and be creative and just let those crazy things that are circling in my brain, like just get them down on paper and be able to articulate what it is that is swirling around in my brain. I really get honest with myself in my journal, and I get really honest with what I actually want to manifest, not like that safe version of things you want to manifest that you tell other people about. Like these are like the real big dreams. And it's so crazy because the more accurate I get in my journal, the more detail I provide in my journal, the more accurate my manifestations are. There are four methods that I use for journaling. One is practicing gratitude, which is pretty self-explanatory, but I will get into more detail about how I use gratitude to manifest things in the future. I'm going to speak about how I script. So I write like a day in the life, or I'll write everything like from my higher self. So I want to get into that as well. What else do I do? I channel my spirit guides. So this is something really cool. And this is how I get a lot of downloads and I communicate with loved ones that have passed. And yeah, this one's actually so powerful that I do it the least because it scares me sometimes. So I'm going to get into how I do that. And the fourth one is, I think Abraham Hicks called this rage on a page. And this is like whenever I am feeling really disgruntled or bothered by something, everything that I'm feeling, I just write it so quickly all throughout the pages, just like the rage on the page, like the rampage, right? And I just get it all out. Like I get it out, and then once it's done, I rip it out and I rip it up and it's done. And it is just such a powerful way for actually like getting anger out. And you know how, anyway, I'm going to get into all of those four styles, four methods that I use for journaling. So let's get into the very first one, which is gratitude. So you probably, if you're in the wellness space, you know the importance of gratitude and just being present, right? And I think it's Jay Shetty that says you can't hold gratitude and anger and depression at the same time. The way I practice gratitude is I have both sides of the page, and then I write everything I'm grateful for in this current moment. So usually that is my daughter, my boyfriend, my morning coffee, because that just brings me so much joy, and really simple things that just really fill my cup. And it just feels so good to journal like this in the morning when I do get time to. I don't journal every single day. I did before I had a child, but she doesn't care about my journaling practice in this current time of our lives. So I like to do it when I can. And yeah, it brings me to really appreciate how far I've come, because I don't think we do that enough. I think a lot of us we look back and we romanticize the past and we think, oh, when I was, younger, I was doing this and I was, so much more connected and I, was so much better at social media, rah, 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 rah. And we don't actually stop and appreciate how far we've come. And I can't wait. One of the things I'm planning to do on this podcast is share a lot about my past journey and my 20s and my healing journey and how I got to where I am. But we're not going into that right now. But yeah, just I really appreciate where I am right now. And I just think life gets better every day. I really do think as you get older, life gets better. And, I think 30s are incredible. I can't wait to see what 40s brings for me. I've never been happier in my life. And it is because I'm wiser and I've been through so many hard times that I can really, really appreciate the good times. And I think just basking in that gratitude is just the best thing you can do for yourself in this crazy journey of life. And it just brings you so much more abundance in business because people feel that gratitude that you have. Like people just it's magnetic, right? It's that unexplainable thing about you that when you're in that state of gratitude and when you're just feeling good, Abraham Hicks called this like tuned in, turned on, tapped on, tuned in, turned on, tapped in, or something like that. And you're just on this absolute like unfuckable with energy because you're grateful in the moment and it's practicing self-love. So yeah, I think just being really grateful for the simple things. So that's what I do on the left side of the page. And then on the right side of the page, I will be grateful for things that I'm calling in, that I'm manifesting. And I will write these as I am statements, or I have, or I am so grateful for. So, for example, I'm so grateful that I had a sold out launch this month and I had the most dreamy aligned clients all just flow in so naturally. And it felt so expansive and it felt so fulfilling and it felt so abundant. And I had the best month ever financially and spiritually. And I'm so grateful that fill in the blank. And I'll really talk into this future self and this future version of me, but acting as if I have it now and rehearsing in my subconscious brain the idea that I have it now. Because remembering your subconscious brain can't tell between what is real and what is imagined. So this practice for me really started back at I want to say, yeah, around 2021, when I wanted to leave my full-time job and become a digital marketer and do that freelancing or start an agency. I wasn't really sure what that looked like. And my previous work history was more like generalist marketing, a bit more project management focused. It wasn't really specialized and it wasn't really digital, like in terms of like on the tools digital. But I knew that if I wanted to become a marketing freelancer, I had to be really, really heavy in digital. And that's where everything is going rather than just having the knowledge of it, actually knowing how to use the tools and be able to execute on things so I could take on clients and turn around projects and whatnot, rather than just be the project manager or be the strategist on the campaign. So I was writing down in my journal every morning, I am a digital marketer. I am a CEO. I have an agency. I am so grateful to have clients that love and appreciate me and just appreciate the work that I do. And I appreciate them and the work feels so good. And, I would just like, go on absolute rampages of what I wanted my entrepreneurial journey to look like and what I wanted to do, even though I didn't have the clients, I didn't have the skills yet, I didn't have the experience, I didn't have anything. I was just being delusional and acting as if I had all those things and I was so grateful for them. But in reality, I was driving to my 9 to 5, couldn't even work from home. Like there was no flexibility. I drove to work every single day crying because I was so stressed about what would happen that day. My nervous system was out of whack. I never felt like I was doing anything right at work because my boss would start every single day saying a few fires to put out today when there were no fires, you know. There were no fires. We didn't work for emergency services. We worked in marketing. Okay. That's not the way to start the day. And I was just calling in this new reality, and it was calling me in too, right? Like, is when you start to put pen to paper, and sometimes what comes out will be so surprising for you. Even now, like what I'm writing in my journal is I am a six-figure marketing and manifestation coach, when really I've just introduced the manifestation element into my work, right? And I've really just returned from maternity leave, and things are feeling a bit scattered. I've really just closed my agency model and function down. I really, literally just yesterday or the day before finished a project for a client, and I'm moving more into the coaching consulting space and talking more about the energetics and the manifestation. But in my mind, I'm already up there, and I'm so grateful for it. And I'm practicing that in my journal right now. And that is what my focus is going to. And where focus goes, energy flows. So just remember that when you're journaling, focus on the good, focus on the future. And that is really how I like to call it in now. And that is doing a lot of self-concept work as well, right? Like, a lot of people think, if I'm going to manifest being an entrepreneur, I need to go buy a new laptop, I need to get a photo shoot done, I need to get a website. But really, it's about changing that identity in yourself first and acting as if you're already that version, being a bit delulu. And then that's how the rest come, right? The new laptop and the new website and stuff, like, you'll find out along the journey that those things are actually so minuscule and not important, and you don't really need them at the start of your journey. And what you really need is that unshakable belief that this is possible for you. The second one is scripting. So the practice of scripting in your journal is about writing in the future tense as if it's, 6 months, 12 months, 5 years into the future, and writing about all the amazing things that have happened to you since this day, since this current day, right? And it's all the things you want to manifest and call in. So, for example, you might write on the 1st of January 2026, and you might write, wow, 2025 was such an amazing year. I got married, I made new friendships, my business skyrocketed to $1 million. I had more free time than ever, and more, and that is what ideally will manifest by the time that date rolls around. It's kind of a funny one, because I've done this before, and sometimes I will reread them and I'll be disappointed that all those things didn't manifest. But I always think there's a really good reason. If something didn't manifest, there's a really good reason why it hasn't yet, and doesn't mean it won't. It just means that that was not my time. And this one that I wrote back in April, when things were really, really tough for me, we were living in our apartment still. I was experiencing quite bad postpartum anxiety. We were not sleeping. Our daughter stopped being a good sleeper from when she was about 5 months old, and she was sleeping in our bed, and like, it just got worse and worse. And we just kind of thought it would fix itself naturally. And no sleep is a form of torture, right? It was definitely one of the biggest struggles of this year, and I don't know why I didn't address it earlier. Like I said, I just thought it would fix itself naturally. So yeah, this year was really tough. So I wrote down in my journal, I'm such a positive thinker anyway, but I wrote down in my journal 6 months into the future. So this is April, and I was living in the apartment. I was miserable, and I wasn't sleeping because my daughter wasn't sleeping. And there's quite a rental crisis in my area too, mind you. So I was also a bit stressed about where we were going to move to, knowing that our lease was meant to be up in August. And we had a baby, and I wasn't working at the time. So I wrote in my journal I scripted as if it was the 15th of October 2024. So the time of this recording is, what's the date today? It's the 23rd of October right now. So that time has since passed. And I want to read to you some of the things that I had scripted as if they had already happened. Wow, everything is manifesting rapidly. The past 6 months, everything has changed. I have to thank my spiritual practice, God, the universe, and my angels for being, and my angels and beings of the highest truth and compassion for the incredible blessings upon blessings we have received. Mia turned 1 and is walking everywhere. She sleeps the whole night, 7 till 7. A dream. She's so quiet now compared to how she was. She goes to daycare 3 days per week and never gets sick anymore. And the craziest part about that is Mia was also in and out of daycare around April because she just kept getting sick. Like, we had a real issue with daycare, and we ended up taking her out of daycare. And so she wasn't in daycare 3 days a week. She was in daycare 0, and she kept getting sick. And like I said, she wasn't sleeping. This week has been, I want to say, the 6th or 7th week in a row that she has slept through the night in her own bed, 7 till 7. We ended up taking matters into our own hands and did sleep training. But I didn't remember writing this down. I wasn't like, by October, I have to do sleep training. I just, the answers kind of came to me. We found the right person to help us with it. And it was actually so much easier than I thought it would be. And yeah, and she's also walking everywhere now, which she wasn't walking back then. And it turned out she had to go through the baby Cairo to start walking again. So all these kind of divine things happened. And you might think, oh, well, that's kind of typical for a 1-year-old. But we had a lot of difficulties. And one of the things I also wrote in there was that she's so much more quiet now. My daughter was so loud back then. Like, we had a really rough, challenging time around April of this year. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was a really tough time. And yeah, and for it to be October and for this week, guys, she's in a new daycare, and it's so hard to get in more days there because the wait list is so long because it's such a good daycare. This week is the first week that she is in daycare 3 days a week. So that manifested. It might seem small to you, but if you're a mum, you totally get this stuff, like how life-changing and incredible changes with your daughter are, or your child. So that is just proof that some of this works. Some of this stuff I wrote down didn't come true. So I'm not going to jinx that and say it now, because I know it's going to come. But another one was that I wrote down in this same journal entry. Our house is amazing. It's such a dream. We have an upstairs, downstairs, and we have grass. It's so modern. It's on the nicest block. It feels so safe. And we finally have a garage. It's wonderful. I am so grateful. Thank you, God. My career has gone from strength to strength. I love my work. I'm so creative. It's easy, and I can work anywhere from any time. It's wild. I love saving money and investing. I'm an investor now. I buy myself in mini clothes, and we're currently buying new furniture, and it's so fun. I'm thrilled. I'm so, so grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Our family is so healthy and thriving. We love spending time together. The best part is we are just so financially secure now. We are winning. I've dreamed of this for so long. The road to this place was rocky. I had no idea how or when this dream life would unfold, but it did. I did it. I freaking did it. I just kept following my intuition, and all the tears, the heartache, the pain. I've lost so much, but I've gained so much. I am the best version of myself. I am so happy. I am so happy. I am so grateful. I'm so happy and grateful that myself, Mia, and Bo are feeling so much better. We feel healthy. We feel rested, calm, vibrant, full of vitality. We are so blessed to feel healthy and positive. We feel clear and light and happy. Life is so good now. We are eating healthy and sleeping well. It feels like we have entered a really exciting new chapter. So I don't know if that was channeling my version of myself now, or if that was my past self manifesting this now, and how I've just quantum leaped into this reality. Like I always say to Bo, like, I'm just so happy now. Like I just never thought this level of happiness could be achieved at 30, living in a different state to my friends, having a daughter. Both my parents have passed away. My grandpa passed away this year in May, and he was like a father to me. And as heartbreaking it has been, I didn't crumble this time, and I feel so happy with where life is, and I'm just appreciating the moment. And yeah, I think it's just crazy that I wrote that down 6 months ago and forgot about it. That's the key, right? Write it down and don't obsess over it. Forget about it and allow fate and allow God, let Jesus take the wheel, allow fate to do its thing. The next method of journaling that I want to speak about is channeling your spirit guides, or channeling your spirit team, or your guardian angels, whatever you want to call it, channeling from the divine and getting messages. So yeah, as I said, this is something I actually don't do that often because it scares me how powerful it is. So the way to do it is, I've stolen Gabby Bernstein's method for doing this. Well, I use her method. I haven't stolen it. She shared it with everybody. And it's on her website if you want to go and look further into it. Basically, she speaks about calling in your spirit guides to receive guidance on something in particular. It might be, on a specific topic, or it might just be what you need to know right now, or, if you're just seeking guidance on your purpose or a specific problem. Next, what you want to do is write down at the top of the page, after meditating, after being in a really calm state in your journal: angels, God, universe, beings of the highest truth and compassion, I invite you to write through me now and share the guidance that I need to receive on X, Y, Z. And or sometimes I'll just write on the guidance I need to receive. And then you kind of just literally let your hand write whatever is dropping in, write it out and don't judge it. And don't worry about the flow of it. Just keep writing and keep turning the page and keep writing whatever is coming out. So I want to share with you another one of my journal entries that I did yesterday morning. I felt really called to do this practice. Dear angels, spirit guides, God, Holy Spirit, beings of the highest truth and compassion, I invite you to write freely throughout these pages for me now. And then this is when Spirit took the wheel. You must continue to love yourself. Stay focused, dear one, for you have no idea what great things are ahead of you, nor what you are truly capable of. Remarkable, really remarkable, astonishing things are coming your way. The exciting part is not quite knowing what they are yet or how they will come about, but they will. Oh, and how joyous and delighted you will be, dear one, for we have seen things you haven't even dreamed of yet, dropping into your reality as if of some great coincidence. But really, it is a gift from the divine for staying humble, focused, determined, and quick-witted. Be the energy you wish to attract, and you know you will find your people. It will seem effortless to others, but you will know it's after years of hard work and trial and error. Really, really powerful stuff. And I don't write like that. So that's how I know there was some magical beings at play with a message that I really needed to hear. So, you don't need another tarot reading. You don't need another strategy sometimes. Sometimes you just need to really go within. So those are my really powerful journaling the more positive strategies, tactics, I guess. But the fourth one that I want to speak about is the rage on the page. And the reason I think this is powerful for manifesting is because it really helps you just clear the negative junk out of your mind. And we all have those days. We all get really frustrated. It's so normal. It's not always love and light, is what I always say. So whenever something is really frustrating you and you're feeling really irritated by it, just journal on it. Just journal, why is this irritating you? Even if it sounds so wrong and drastic and like a little like, oh, that's a bit dark. Like, can't believe that came out of me. Like sometimes it's just get it out. Don't judge it. The most important thing is just to not judge whatever comes up for you. And once it's done, rip it out and throw it away. And it's such a good energetic clearing to just realign and reset yourself. You know, maybe it's a launch hasn't worked out. Maybe it's a client wanted a refund. Maybe it's a collaboration didn't go so well and the other person is frustrating you. Rather than taking it out on that other person, rather than making it a bigger deal than it needs to be, sometimes it just helps to write it down and then you see like how silly and minuscule and irrelevant the issue actually is, but you just needed to get it out. I think this is why a lot of people love therapy as well, because they have another soundboard for just saying the ridiculous things that are in their mind. And you might know that they're ridiculous, but you just need to get them out energetically and just shake them out anyway. I like to write as if I'm my future self. I like to practice gratitude for things I have in the now and the future. I like to clear out my mind and get rid of things that are holding me back. And I like to connect with my spirit guides and receive messages and really powerful downloads. And I think all those things combined have really helped me reach this place where, you know, Joe Dispenza talks about this place where a lot of people that come and do his programs and do his retreats, they go through the method and all those materialistic external things that they wanted going into the process after they have, you know, completed the journey and the method or done the retreat, they don't even want those things anymore because they're just so elevated and so happy and so joyous with life and so in awe. And I remember I heard that concept a couple of years ago. I thought, no way, I'm never going to be like that. I want a Range Rover and I want all designer clothing and now I'm just like, you know what? I actually don't even want those things have so much less weight and less value to me now because I am just so happy being healthy with my family and getting a good night's sleep and eating well and being able to go to Pilates at 6 a.m. and come home and my daughter is still asleep. And obviously my partner was still at home with her. Don't worry, I didn't just leave her and go to Pilates. And then I get to come home and make my iced coffee and journal and then jump on and record a podcast. And like, it's just so fun. And I just can't believe I get to do this stuff every day. And I live in my dream location in Queensland. I just live that ultimate warm weather life and it's so safe here. And just with everything going on around the world, I'm just like, yes, I'm so glad I moved here. As much as I miss my family in Melbourne and my girlfriends, like, you know, life is just so good because I've made it good because I did this, you know, I've made really hard decisions in the past. And yeah, I just think the better it gets, the better it gets. And that's the perspective I have with my journal. But I also don't judge myself when I'm having bad days and I feel really negative and it feels like the world, the weight of the world is too much. And, you know, there's definitely days I feel unworthy and there's days I feel ungrateful and think, what have I done? Like, what is this mess I've created for myself? Like, for sure. It's a roller coaster, but I think having a practice like journaling to get all those things down and out is so powerful. And I honestly think they should teach it in schools, that self-concept work. It's really where it begins. And yeah, there's other modalities that I really love, and I'm sure I'll share them on the podcast soon. But for me, for manifesting business success and this business full of freedom and getting to work with the most amazing clients and collaborating and just being able to express myself. Like, I can't believe this is my job. It's so cool. And yeah, I've gotten here through journaling. So I hope this really helped. And if you want to share any ideas or downloads, or perhaps you've done these practices before and you've had some crazy things spill out and manifest, I would love to hear it. Please DM me. I'm at Shakira Park _ on Instagram. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I am so grateful to have you here and in this community that I'm building. It's small, but it is mighty and it is powerful. And yeah, I'm just so grateful that you took the time and clicked and listened today.